Hey everyone, Isha here. So today I'm doing an easy beginner makeup tutorial that's lightweight and just enhances your natural features. So let's get right into it. First, I'm using this niacinamide serum by 4pm, and this is totally optional lang, but I'm using a serum para lang mas may moisture yung skin ko. Next, I'm gonna apply a pea-sized amount of this moisturizer by the 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃. And what I like about this moisturizer is how yung pea-size na yon enough na siya para sa buong mukha ko. And ang supple ng skin ko after applying it. Now, I'm using this primer by 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗀, and this is my current go-to primer kasi nako-cover niya talaga yung pores ko and it really helps my makeup last longer. Next, I'm using a clear brow soap, but first, nililinis ko lang yung brows ko with a Q-tip para hindi maghalo-halo yung ginagamit kong product. Binabrush up ko lang yung brows ko, and it's okay if you really take time with this kasi sa akin, I have a brow type na mahirap i-brush up. So, I really took my time para i-brush up ng todo yung brows ko. Now, I'm just cleaning up yung lower and upper part ng brows ko para yung mga next products na i-apply ko, hindi rin sila maghalo-halo. Onto my brows, gamit ko tong brow pencil by 𝗁𝗂𝘀𝗀𝘀. Fini-fill in ko lang yung brows ko with brush strokes while also following lang yung direction ng brow hairs ko. I'm doing it this way para natural lang yung dating niya and hindi maging masyadong makapal yung overall finish niya. For this look, gagamitin ko lang tong tinted sunscreen by 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀. I'm applying it just like how I normally apply my foundation and then ibe-blend ko lang siya with a normal sponge. I-moisturize ko lang yung lips ko with this lip balm by 𝗬𝗵𝗽𝗀𝗀. Ina-apply ko lang siya in a dotted way sa buong lips ko. Now, I'm using this full wear concealer by L'Oreal. I'm just applying it sa under eyes ko, outer corner, sa my nose, and sa other blemishes ko para i-cover up lang sila. And I'm just blending everything out with a damp normal sponge. Then, gamit ko lang tong brown shade sa mini palette ng Squad and i-apply ko lang siya with a blending brush. Biniblend ko lang siya starting sa crease ko and then slowly papunta sa lids ko. Then, I'm using the darker brown shade in the same palette. And gamit yung same blending brush, i-apply ko lang siya sa outer corners para mas magkaroon ng deepen effect yung eye look. Then, I'm just applying the brown shade sa lower lash line ko using an angled brush. And also cleaning it up a bit. For my eyeliner, I'm gonna use this gel eyeliner by 𝗁𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗀. And I ensure na yung eyeliner ko, I'm making it as close as possible sa lash line ko. And hindi ko rin siya masyadong kinakapalan. Ginagamit ko rin to para i-tightline yung eyes ko. Now, gamit ko tong liquid eyeliner by 𝗃𝗏𝗀𝗀 and gagamitin ko to just to make a little wing sa eyeliner ko. I'm doing this para magkaroon lang ng konting lift yung eye look ko. So, gumagawa lang ako ng wing and then kinoconnect ko lang siya sa gel eyeliner ko. The technique here when you're doing a wing eyeliner and if you have a hooded eyes like mine, you have to look straight sa mirror when doing your eyeliner para alam mo lang yung nagiging itsura kapag straight kang nakatingin. Now, I'm using 𝗵𝗵𝗄𝗃's mascara for my lashes, but before that, i-curl ko muna yung lashes ko. So dito, I'm applying 2 coats of mascara sa upper lashes ko, and then sa lower lashes, isang coat lang. Then, nilagyan ko ng konting concealer yung sponge ko to clean up yung edges ng eyeliner ko. Now, I'm using this bronzer by 𝗁𝗂𝗀𝗀 in the shade Brown Rose. Na-apply ko lang siya with an angle brush just right below doon sa cheekbones ko. Then, slowly applying the product din papunta sa temples and forehead ko. For my blush, I'm using this color tint in the shade Ocean. Ina-apply ko yung product sa back of my hands and then I'm kind of buffing my brush onto it. Then, tsaka ko ina-apply yung blush sa my cheekbones ko. And then, using the same bronzer and eyeshadow brush na gamit ko kanina, iko-contour ko lang yung nose ko. So, I kind of make a nose line and I ensure na dapat connected yun sa brows ko. This step is optional lang kasi contouring the nose can be a bit tricky, but it's fine if you wanna practice. To highlight it, nag-apply lang ako ng konting concealer and blending it with a normal sponge. Now, gamit ko tong 𝗀𝗏𝗀𝘀 powder to set everything out. With the sponge that I use, mag-apply lang ako ng powder sa under eyes ko, sa nose, and that part sa baba ng bronzer ko, and connecting it sa ends ng lips ko. Then, with a flat, fluffy brush, ibe-blend ko lang lahat. Also, notice how mas naging soft yung overall look, lalo na sa contour part ng nose ko. And it's important na mag-powder ka para ma-blend out yung mga harsh lines sa makeup look mo. Now, I'm using this highlighter by 𝗁𝗂𝗀𝗀 and gagamitan ko lang siya ng fluffy brush to apply it on my cheekbones, nose, and Cupid's bow. Here, gamit ko lang yung pinky finger ko to apply some highlight sa inner corners ko. And then, I'm gonna line my lips with a gel eyeliner, pero ima-moisturize ko muna konti yung lips ko with the lip balm. And then, nilaline ko lang yung lips ko and then ibe-blend out with my finger. And I'm just doing the same on my upper lip and nag-apply lang ulit ako ng lip balm. To finish the look, I'm just using this lip oil by Squad and i-apply ko lang sa buong lips ko. This is the final look and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you on my next one. 𝗀𝗏𝗄𝗃𝗍𝗄.